discussing an intergovernmental agreement regarding the jail and prisoners. Number one, the county has never voted on this. This reflects, I presume, the chairman's view of how this takes place, because we no longer have a manager. At any rate, I take exception to the bulk of it, because as far as I'm concerned, this is simply a question of double taxation, because you already pay for the jail. The last time I looked at the budget that we just passed, not with my vote, it included a large component for the jail. So if you're already paying for the jail, why should you pay for it again? We all know what the real story is. We got a judge that actually does his job. He actually, if you do bad things, he does bad things to you. What an incredible concept. You know, I got an email, you know, I run this little blog and I keep my mouth off and some people read it and whatever. And they were complaining about it. They were complaining because an individual got severely punished and it was their first DUI. So the question I pose is this: what would have happened if that police officer hadn't gotten that particular individual, let's say at 8 o'clock, and let's say at 8:15 that person was still driving, still drunk, and hit your child? What would you say then? Would that be satisfactory? I don't think so. There's no such thing as first offense, second offense. And finally, there's no question that there's personalities involved in this. No question in my mind whatsoever. The comments were, and these were public comments, well, you see, they run this nice little magistrate court, and they grab all the money, whatever you call your court. They grab the money, they stick it in their pocket, and they stick us with the bill. That's number one. Number two, I don't take my clients there because they just don't listen to reason. What they're really saying is, when you take someone into Judge Moroz's court, he is the judge, jury, and executioner. So if you want a jury trial because, you know, Moroz is not playing the game for you-know-who and so on around here, you know you have to go up above to try the case. But meanwhile, there you have to work. Not only that, there might be 2-3 days, and maybe your client doesn't want to pay for the bill. And after all, the reason they hire these lawyers is because they figure these lawyers are connected. Well, evidently, with Judge Moroz, they're not connected. And that's to our benefit. And I would hope that you would support Judge Moroz all the way. And as far as this particular thing is concerned, I would hope you will vote it down overwhelmingly. And the most important thing, I have finished everything. Shut up.
Well, two things in response to that, Mr. Feller, is number one, this is only on the agenda for discussion because we know that it's been proposed.
Well, you know, well, I'm just telling you how to discuss.
Okay, thank you. And appreciate that. And I can assure you that we do support our judge. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, anyone else want to address the council at this time? Anybody want to address the council at the granting audience to the public segment of the agenda? Okay. First item under old business is the alcohol license application for Bowling Place. We did have a public hearing which was duly advertised, and according to law at 6:45 this evening. There were several comments from the public. Council, you've had this application since the last meeting. What's your pleasure?
I will make a motion to accept this liquor license.
You're making a motion to approve?
Approve the liquor license, yeah.
Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second? Okay, motion dies for lack of a second. Okay, item A, new business, city court update. Judge Moroz, made a request to address the council about our city court at this time. We're more than happy to give him all the time he needs.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, ladies and gentlemen. Much of my thunder has been taken by the eloquence of one of our county commissioners, but I'm not here to take sides in any matter. I tell you this, I'm not an advocate for this city. I'm not an advocate for the people who are accused. I am the city's judge. Several of you here, and this was some time ago, saw fit to place me as the judge for this city. And I hope I haven't let you down. However, some recent news articles have appeared, and they deserve comment. They deserve comment not to vindicate me, but they deserve comment because the people of the city of St. Mary's have a right to know their court is one of integrity and justice. I tell you that it is, but these are my words. Were you to read the newspaper in the last 2 weeks, you'd have read many things. One, that perhaps your judge condones police officers who would set up speed traps, and then I would, following up, assign them to excessive fines or sentence them to some excessive amount of time in jail. I tell you that's false. If I knew police officers were violating the law, and when you say speed traps, that connotes illegal activity on the part of the police. I would not tolerate that. I wouldn't tolerate it as a private citizen. I surely would not tolerate it as your judge. But that's my word. I would like to say that the finest thing I've ever done in my life was become your city judge. Unfortunately, that's not true. All right. One of the great moments of my life was serving as an Army officer, and I'm a retired Army officer. I served as an infantry officer. Worse than that, an airborne infantry officer. I actually jumped out of planes for a living. I love that job because I had the trust and confidence of America's sons and daughters under me. So when I made decisions, I knew they were important, they counted. I tell you as your judge, I have not abused my power here. However, if I did, and if anyone else did, I would not expect your support, Madam Mayor. I wouldn't expect your support on this council if I have done something wrong. I read in the paper this morning in the Times-Union, an attorney who sits on the county commission said that I was perhaps guilty of excessive sentences. To me, that connotes I've gone beyond the bounds of the law. I tell you this, that is false. If you can find one instance of me doing that, find one instance, present it to me, and I tell you, you will have my resignation immediately. All right. I don't make a profit out of being the judge here. I love this city. I've raised my children here, my wife and I. My wife's a registered nurse. I wear the moniker of an attorney. I also teach. I'm the chairman of the Florida Metropolitan University's Department of Criminal Justice at Orange Park. I try to train people to become good at what they like to be good at. You know, I believe I'm a good judge. I believe I'm a good attorney. I believe I'm a better father and husband. And to me, that counts a lot more than the other jobs. I tell you this, I try to be a good citizen. I believe there's two things citizens should aspire to. One is positively influencing the people you meet, and the second thing is positively influencing the institutions you touch. If I've done that, I've had a successful life. I tell you this, that charge of excessive sentencing is wrong. I also see this phrase coming up that I sentence people to excessive sentences for minor crimes. What are minor crimes? Well, let me give you an example of a minor crime that's raised the ire of several on the county commission. There was a gentleman who was passing a school bus in the afternoon while children were getting on that school bus. He passed the school bus recklessly. The stop signs were out. Thank God, a police officer from the city of St. Mary's was behind that bus, pulled over the driver. The driver was drunk. That was the driver's second DUI within a 1-year period of time. Did I sentence him to 365 days in jail? Forgive my language. You're damn right I sentenced him to 365 days in jail. also told the city, also told the jail that this gentleman is to undergo alcohol treatment. All right? I don't believe in punishing people by sending them to jail. I tell you this, incarceration is a last resort. All right? I do not believe that that is the way to rehabilitate the people who appear here, truly, for minor offenses. I don't consider repeat DUI offenses minor offenses. I tell you this, the state of Georgia says it is a misdemeanor. And a misdemeanor is punishable by up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine, either or both. That's a misdemeanor. All right. So, have I been sentencing people for minor crimes? Technically, yes. All right, I have, and I've been doing that since I've been a judge. I served as a county judge for 4 years with the magistrate court. I've proudly served here for just over 2 years. All right. I'll not change my ways because people feel that because you are privileged to know someone, you should get out of a sentence, a fine, or a traffic infraction.
Amen.
Let me, and I don't look for applause and I don't look for your congratulations. Honestly, I don't. Because were I to use you as a weather vane, ladies and gentlemen, I respect you, but I have two duties. One is to determine what the facts are, and the second is to apply the law. I've heard many fine people up here arguing their cases before for a liquor license. I'm very cognizant of the fact there are two laws. Right? One is God's law, one is Caesar's law. I try to abide by both of them. Right? When I sit on the bench, I follow Caesar's law. Right? That troubles many people. You know, and something that's troubling, and I want to make this very clear here to everyone. I specifically asked Commissioner Barry last week if he had singled this court out and the people here, because I told him these numbers were totally off base. I wanted to come here today and tell you those numbers were off base, but if you read the paper on Friday, I've never met Mr. Mark Dorlick from the Tribune. But I tell you, thank God we have people like him on the press, because he actually followed up and got the hard numbers of the sentencing in St. Mary's. I was accused by a captain in the sheriff's department of placing people or being responsible for 80% of the people in jail. I knew that was false to begin with. I read the paper on Friday and today that he was, what is it, shooting
Off the cuff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, shooting off the cuff. All right, and it was an extemporaneous comment. Well, the truth of that matter is, ladies and gentlemen, had you, a private citizen, made a statement off the cuff to any member of the Sheriff's Department or our own police department concerning a matter under investigation, you would be charged with making a false statement if that was done. All right. However, this Captain Wesley Walker, and I'll tell you, I don't know who he is, and I read with interest today that, you know, our distinguished chairman of the county commission says he doesn't know how this happened, and you know, he doesn't know how these figures were wrong, but they should be correct. Well, they should be more than correct. I don't want anyone to get me wrong on here. I have nothing but admiration and respect for the members of the deputy sheriffs out there and the members of our own police department out there. George Orwell said it best. In 1943, George Orwell said, "We sleep in our beds at night because rough men stand ready to visit violence on those who would do us harm." These are the people who patrol our streets at night. I feel better for them. Do I turn in their favor in this court? No. Right? I listen, I determine the facts, and I apply the law. That's what I do. The troubling part about this is, and I began saying that I spoke to Mr. Barry earlier last week. He denied ever mentioning me by name. He denied mentioning the city by name, or in any way impugning the city. And I will take it, and he gave me his word of honor on that. All right?
Yeah, well, don't take it to the bank.
All right. I'm not here to cast any aspersions on Mr. Barry, but if what was written in the paper is correct, if it's true, I tell you this, I am concerned that we have someone who routinely and regularly practices in the municipal court for the city of St. Mary's as a criminal defense attorney, coming up here repeatedly attempting to negotiate for his client, to hold clients, the plural, and get cases reduced. And I remember a recent one. It was a gentleman who does not live in St. Mary's. He had a DUI. Lo and behold, he's in St. Mary's again, and he gets a DUI again. Mr. Barry saw me in the conference room before court, and he wanted the case reduced to a reckless driving or a speeding charge. I said no. All right, that won't happen. I'll hear the facts, I'll apply the law. What did he do? He transferred the case. He not only transferred the case, within earshot of me, he complained to our mayor that I wouldn't, and I don't want to put words in the mayor's mouth because he directed it to the mayor, but he complained to the city that I wouldn't deal with him. Sir, I have no problem, ladies and gentlemen, with advocacy. We no doubt need criminal defense attorneys. There are many of them out there. But I will not bend the law and give special privilege to people who would come in here to the city of St. Mary's, violate the law, admit to it, and then want their case reduced or the charge reduced. I'll not do that. If the city, and there is a mechanism for this, if the city desires to reduce those charges, I've already told the chief of police, I've told the city attorney, I have no problem with the police stating, I made a mistake, I wish the case was null prost or dismissed, or I do believe another charge less would be appropriate. I don't have a problem with that at all, right? But I'll not negotiate behind closed doors in a system that I'm afraid affects our county. All right, Mr. Barry also informed me that this case of a $45 fee is a done deal. All right, so despite what you read in the paper, Mr. Barry informed me it will be voted on and passed. How is that known? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a dynamic here. And Mr. Barry, if you read the paper this morning, says, I need to stop getting involved in politics here and just run my court. I'm sorry, if defending this court, the integrity of the court, the integrity of you, the St. Mary citizens who trust me to get the job done as your judge, if that means doing something other than what my duty requires, you have the wrong person here. And believe me, I would gladly step down as your judge. I've already mentioned that to the city mayor. I don't have a problem doing that, to be honest with you. You know, believe me, we live in an interesting world. We have Mr. Floyd here, who is a friend of the city attorney. He's also the juvenile judge. He's aware. You know, young hoodlums have visited my house, destroyed my mailbox, busted the window of my truck, busted windows in my house, destroyed things in my backyard. Why? Because they don't like the type of justice that exists here in St. Mary's. That's a shame. Yeah, really is a shame. But that doesn't dissuade me one bit. Decades ago, I was willing to give my life for this country. I consider St. Mary's my country. Whether you like it or not, you know, I will still be who I am long after I leave this office. All right? So I can live with myself. I can look myself in the face. These other ridiculous charges of, by Mr. Herron in particular, that I should explore other options as opposed to sentencing people to jail. Well, truth be told, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 2 years as your city judge, the records indicate I've heard over 5,000 cases, right? Ranging from DUIs to minor seatbelt, you know, not being buckled offenses. Do you know how many people went to jail? If you read the papers, you would think the vast majority went to jail. The truth is just over 100 were sentenced. I tell you this, the law requires that DUI offenders be incarcerated for a period of time. The law requires driving with a suspended driver's license incarcerates you for a period of time. My hands are tied. Many of those 100+ cases where I sentenced people, the truth of the matter is this. They were pending other charges, felony charges from Superior Court. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't let these people go. And that's true. It may have been a minor speeding infraction, but the fact they had outstanding warrants held them there for Superior Court. I'm embarrassed to be in front of you here defending this. I actually am. I'm embarrassed. You know, the last thing I want to do is be in front of the mayor, of the council members, and you, the citizens who care enough to come out on a rainy night. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm humbled. You're here. You know, our court meets twice a month, and it's full. You know, we have officers here who just put their lives on the line constantly. You know, I'm awed to be around these people. I really am. You know, you and I could laugh, and I do. I joke about people, you know, eating their donuts and drinking their coffee and all that. But I'll tell you what, the first one you call when you're in trouble, is it the judge? No. All right, you call these folks here, and they stand in harm's way for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have an old boy network here. Is it a secret? Am I letting out a secret? It is a system of privilege. There is great fear and consternation here that what is going on is, and I just say this as a citizen commentating here, that what is going on is that people are afraid. BRAC has expanded this community. We have an incredibly fine police chief, and I have to say that because not only the court, but the police department was impugned by certain commissioners, Mr. Berry and Mr. Herron, to be exact. All right. I hope the sheriff lives up to his pledge as he ran last year for honest law enforcement. I hope he investigates this Captain Walker. I hope the city will take it upon itself with the information I've given that if we do have an attorney on the county commission who is exploiting his office for the sake of his business, that is, as a criminal defense attorney in this court, that needs to be investigated by the state bar. And I would encourage this municipality to file a complaint with the state bar if you believe this to be the case. I will not sit in judgment on Mr. Berry. That is not in my jurisdiction. But I tell you this, the truth of the matter is, and I hear many people, and let me thank those of you who are here who've called, and those who aren't here who called me. My telephone machine is rung off the hook saying, thank you, Judge. We don't believe this stuff that's being said. Others have said, USOP, you know, you're going to be responsible for raising our taxes, and leave the messages there. That's fine. You know, this is democracy. This is open government. You know, when it gets to threats, it's something else. But the people who care enough to be involved with government, I tell you this, Mr. Berry was on the commission. They built a beautiful $9 million plus, while he was county commissioner, the chairman of that commission, no less. They built a beautiful $9 million plus courthouse. It's gorgeous. It's magnificent. I had an office in there. It was great. All right. Do you know what they did for the county jail? Nothing. And were we to believe what we've written, crime does not exist in Camden County except St. Mary's. You know, and you have this judge who's filling up the jail. That is false. It's malicious, in my opinion. Well said, sir. I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, this comes from my being an educator in criminal justice. The truth of the matter is, in the last 10 years, we've doubled incarcerations of adults in America. We've doubled the number of people on probation. We have over 2 million people, adults, in jail, over 4 million on probation, over 15 million in other programs. That doesn't even include the juvenile court system. There is a problem in America, but I believe in this city. I love this city. You know, I believe in the people who live here. I believe in the police officers that patrol this city. I believe in the deputies that patrol this county. But never do I want the city's police officers or those who serve to build a better America to ever be impugned by something I may have done. I tell you that these things written in the paper are lies. All right? I tell you that. The things that are lies are the exaggerations of these incarcerations, how much of the jail has been filled. And I tell you that as a concerned citizen, because there are people who want to close your police department and consolidate power in Woodbine. There are people who want to close your court and keep everything up in Woodbine before a superior court that has no member from Camden County residing in Camden County.
Amen.
All right. So what do I say to you all in all? I will continue to serve as God gives me the light to serve as your judge. right? Or until I hear the will of you, the citizens. And believe me, I'm not stupid. I'll step down. I do want to thank you, and I come up here and I speak to you tonight for this one phrase, and it's by Francis Bacon, and it's knowledge is power. You have knowledge, and you have the power in your government. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the council.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Judge. And we will be discussing 2 items down, the proposed